We're up in line.
2 minutes.
No, 30 seconds.
He likes stretching stuff, man.
We're over $100 so the price would be over $50. In West Virginia.
All right, it is 7 o'clock. We are going to get started. Hear ye, hear ye.
Where's your gavel?
Yeah, the one that goes.
I don't know what happened to that.
Somewhere in my basement, I'm sure. All right, welcome to the June 2022 SARA meeting. They did turn the air up, so hopefully it'll cool off here in a minute. Normal agenda as always. We'll start with introductions around the room. I am Jason McCormick, NAEI.
I am AA8CS.
Gary, good stuff.
November 8, Whiskey Bravo, Stefan.
Roger, KE8URQ. Tom, KP2E.
George, November 1 Echo Zulu Zulu.
That's us.
KD8 VYT.
Mark, K South QB.
Bill,
Casey, what?
Michael, Kilo Echo 8, Quebec Whiskey Echo.
Bill, K&H WDK.
Doug, Kilo Echo 8, Juliet November.
Ken, Kilo Alpha 8, Oscar Alpha Delta.
Here, it's George.
Carol, NASIM.
Gary, NAODK.
Dave, we'll hop back to you.
Dave, NTAD.
Jeff, W8TV.
Lane, KD8JJF.
ZKB8OU.
Reeve, W2 HTO.
Rick, November 8, November Oscar Quebec.
W8UA.
Autumn, KD8TKI.
John, NAMKR.
Bill,
Steve, KD8TQR.
Fred, KE8QFT.
Mike, K8EHG.
Wade, WG8MIU.
Bob, we'll jump back to you.
Yeah, Bob, W8WIZ. Gary, W8GMF.
Ron, KB8LNK.
Ed, KA8LYM.
Dan, K8CUI.
Mike, KD8TQU.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Good to hear some of the newer hams, the T calls and U calls and things like that. I mailed out the minutes on Monday. I made one correction. Someone's name was spelled wrong on, or their call sign was wrong. I fixed that. Anybody have any other corrections for the minutes? If not, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Stefan, second by Dave. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I have one.
Anyone want to be the secretary?
Yeah.
Wait, I have a statement. Excuse me.
Hey, guys.
Excuse me. There's a meeting going on. When you sign into the sign-in sheet, please make it legible. That's probably why mistakes were made last time, and there was one I couldn't read, so I put a question mark.
Never did when I was secretary. They never had.
Good for you.
They never, that's not what
Hey,
I
Jason,
said. They never had things legible.
Oh.
I have that PSA I can play
Well, that's not
for the
good.
beacon. I
That's
have it
not
ready.
good.
It's just 30 seconds, but
Kicking against the pricks.
I'm gonna,
I was just gonna
I'm
mention
gonna
that.
say it every time. Thank you.
All right, was anybody opposed to the minutes? I.e., you want to be the secretary?
No.
All right, so this went out a couple weeks ago. We have restarted a net on Sunday and Wednesdays on the repeater at 10 o'clock and Fridays on 80 meters at 9:30. All the information is on the club website. It's been up for 2 weeks now, and or maybe just 1 week now. 2 weeks now? 1 week now? Close to 2 weeks. 2 weeks now. And they've had a good turnout so far. And if you listen to AR Newsline on Tuesday, or if you haven't listened to it yet, about 2/3 of the way through, there is a announcement of the beacon net that went out on Amateur Radio Newsline. We didn't even do that, I think, right? Newsline just found it, right?
they found it, picked it up, and she asked me to record it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the beacon net is lighting up the airwaves.
Did you just call me?
I did, but you can go ahead.
I can go ahead. I do want to thank Jason for fabulous graphics there. I mean, I saw that and I'm thinking,
He hand drew
wow,
every
that-
blade of grass. Every,
I mean, if you want to sell something, that's how you do it. So anyway, but beyond that, it's a great net too.
When's the t-shirt coming out?
yeah, the beacon net t-shirt. There you go.
All right, we're working on
We
it.
have to work on international shipping options for that. We offer that. That was all the announcements I had, other than we have field day coming up, which we're going to talk about later. Anybody have any other announcements for the group? All right, treasurer's report, Mr. Treasurer.
Right, over here. So as you can see, we had club dues come in. We did have incoming for Field Day 2022 T-shirts. Shack Black T-shirt we sold that was in stock from 50/50 raffle from last meeting. And also expenses, Shack Black payment. We did buy some equipment for Field Day, which is on the next line there, a telescopic mast and sport ropes. We also had expense for the Field Day hall rental, refundable deposit, of course, it's refundable. And we did pay the initial payment for the first part of the Field Day T-shirts. We had a deposit payment on that. Ending balance $72, $71, $58.
Yep.
All right.
Your eyes are good. And I will say, we have done, as you know, we do membership April through March. And we take all the people who dropped off we take them off the roster on June 1st. And I do want to say, one of the things we had talked about in the executive committee, we had gotten a huge influx of people in the last 2 years, especially due to COVID. And we were waiting to see if a lot of those people continue to be members, and they have, which has been really good for the club's bottom line, so to speak. But I did just want to state that, the club is not going to just sit on this money. We do have some other expenses for field day. We do have the picnic coming up. We're probably going to start to do some more operating events, which will cost, additional money for things like that. So I just wanted to put that out there. We have a healthy balance right now as a club, which is great, right, compared to the last few years. But I just wanted to let everyone know we're not planning as a club to sit on this money. We're planning to put it to work for the club. So
just an idea that crossed my mind as you were saying that is perhaps creating a presence at some of the local ham fests.
Yeah.
Where we set up a table and kind of we're here, because this is part of the Hampton community. Just as you were speaking, you said you were gonna use this money for something. Just establishing a presence at some of the local hamlets, I think might be in some uses.
Yeah, we'd have to get volunteers to staff the booth and stuff, but yeah.
The only issue there is if you're talking about local ham fest.
Yeah, it could be.
You're talking,
Is
well,
have mentioned, even,
I'm just saying, like, if, it would probably be pretty tacky to open a booth at the Cuyahoga Falls Club Ham Fest. I mean, that's the only thing, but Hamvention is,
I can man the phone, I'm a member there, I can man the phone.
I know,
Well-
I used to gun shop over there.
Yeah, I think we can start maybe just extending our outreach, because we are making really good progress within our own community here. And, with the Beacon Net reaching out to, across state lines, I maybe really establish our presence as a regional club and kind of grow it even further in the future, just something that.
Yep, that's a good idea.
Like doing the Falls House, that's, you pay a table fee and they're happy to see you.
It is on your face.
Yeah. But yeah, that's an idea that we can discuss.
A lot they allow members to bring stuff in, sell.
Yeah, it's something we can look at. All right, any other questions on the treasurer's report? If not, I'll take a motion to approve. Stefan, second. George, all those in favor? Who wants to be treasurer? Russ, you want to be the treasurer?
No, I have a question.
Yeah,
Who motioned and seconded for the minutes?
Stefan and Dave.
Because I wasn't paying attention.
That's supposed to fall asleep.
Yeah, there you go.
I was doing 3 other things.
All right, executive committee report. The executive committee did meet on Wednesday, May 23rd. One of the big topics was evaluating the committee structure. We put that in place about 10 months ago now, 9 months ago now. We've had some mixed success with it. We have had leadership turnover in the Operation and Education Committee again. Some of the stuff we talked about, did we try to make the committee structure a little too formal? And we talked a little bit about what we might want to do to maybe make it more of a pools of interest kind of thing rather than a formal committee. So that's being discussed. Obviously, the operations committee is deeply involved in field day planning. But how we structure that with leaders and stuff like that may be a little looser in the future, more of coalitions of the will rather than having one person on point. But that's to be discussed. We welcome people's feedback. If you guys have any ideas on how to make that work a little better, we're happy to hear that. Talk to me or any of the officers or the trustees. We did talk extensively about field day. We approved different funding for the equipment, the food, things like that. So we're making some progress on that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that on the field day talk. We will have the SARA family picnic, which is going to be August 21st. Sunday, August 21st at 1 o'clock. So we'll have some information coming out about that. And we also met about bringing back a nighttime net, which was on the announcements earlier. So that was the executive committee. It was not a terribly long executive committee. So any questions on the executive committee report? All right, there was no activity or actions on the technical committee. The operating committee. So we have moved forward with kind of improving the field day items. We do have we purchased the Roan H50, which for reasons that are unknown is 43 feet tall. You would think it'd be either the H43 or it would be 50 feet tall, but the H50 is 43 feet tall. We also got some pretty nice spiraled guy steaks this year. So rather than trying to have to pound them in either, especially in the winter field day, these are nice. They actually twist, and it has like a little handle, and you just screw them down in. And we are going to be having length correct guy ropes with clips on the end. Now that I'm done digging holes all throughout my yard, that's the next project that I got to get all the guy wires cut for that. We are going to move ahead with trying out and 2x4s with blankets to kind of deaden the echoing noise in the Legion Hall. That's really the one downside of that place is it's a great venue for everything except the fact that you're trying to have audio in a large concrete box. So we're going to work on that. And I've been working with Jeff, and Jeff's done most of the work on this. We are going to have dual audio at every station this year, so that we can have one operator, one person listen. We have some amps to boost that. We're going to have decent headsets so that everybody can hear. And we'll talk more about this at the field day talk, but we really want to make it accessible to people to get on the air with a friend, mentor, whatever we want to call the person sitting next to them. So we'll have that. Any questions on the operating committee stuff?
I have a question on the graphic.
Okay.
Is it true that they all taste the same?
The best reports that we have from the Bears are yes, and all that.
I could have sworn that technician classes, the techs
Juicier.
are much more juicy.
Yeah. All right.
I saw that graphic. I laughed. I absolutely died.
And I got an email. Gary said you got to put this in the slide, so I put that in just for Gary. Education committee. The education committee is formally on hold as of the last executive committee meeting, pending trying to figure out what we're going to do with that, since that committee really never launched. It just laid on the ground.
Yeah.
Social activities committee. I don't know, Gary or Russ, you guys want to talk about any of this? Want me to cover it?
Gary likes to talk.
What's that mean? The field day dinner and breakfast. Let's see, I have some notes here. Are you going to talk about that during your
I have the field day stuff. Yeah.
I don't have to go over it again. I will say this, Dave's going to pick up the coffee, and thank you for doing that, Dave. And Stefan is going to pick up the display table. And Jeff, boom, 48-inch display. I am really pleased about that. We had a couple years ago a small display with some ham radio videos, which was nice. But it was just too small. So one person got in front of it, and then everybody else kind of scattered. 48-inch display would be great, and that would be a great addition to the table.
Yeah, that's got a nice little looping presentation that I did finally watch after you sent it to me like 2 days ago.
Yeah, and that's going to be great. That's going to be something that is going to excite people about that. As far as the you're going to go over the menu?
Yeah.
Okay. The SARA family picnic will be on the 21st, Sunday the 21st of August. Start arriving at 1 p.m. We'll eat 2-ish. We have a couple activities, formal activities, as a matter of fact, that we're going to do, and there's that whole thing is still in a little bit of flux. We have some time on that, but we'll see about what else we're going to do. But the picnic is always a great time. It is so laid back. It is just a lot of fun, and I really and truly invite everybody to sign up, bring their family. The only obligation you have, it's all free. Just bring a dish to share, and that's that.
And we're going to be back at the same shelter at Silver Creek Metro Park.
The Sherman shelter at the Silver Creek Metro Park.
You want me to book that again like I did last year?
He should do it because
You're
one of
doing
us,
it?
one of us get a discount.
Okay.
Through some
I'm
company.
booking.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
And fall apparel sale. That I've already greased the skids with Power Graphics, our provider, and they're raring to go and eager to please. So in the fall, we will offer a full line of since I didn't do it in the spring, we'll offer some lightweight stuff as well as winter apparel, sweatshirts, other things of that nature, coats. We're gonna add, what do you call it, golf shirts
Yeah.
to the mix. That has been, people have wanted that for a while. It's nice to have a golf shirt around. You can wear them to this meeting here. It certainly formalizes it a little bit more. So, what, I heard Snickers out there. So it'll be, so we're gonna add a few extra things. And I know we have a number of new members and the jackets are phenomenal. They do a really nice job with them. It's all embroidered. And it should be, and we can personalize those. So you put your name and call on them as well. So for now, that's all I have about the fall apparel sale. It'll happen probably late August, early September. We'll roll that out, and then we'll get the order in so that if you decide to buy Christmas presents for yourself or your significant other, there'll be plenty of time.
Cool.
All right. That is the end of the formal agenda. Is there any other business from the floor for the club?
Oh, wait a minute.
I told you, like, to go.
Well,
Don't choke. We
I
don't-
do. I'm trying.
We're live.
I want to recognize these two people here.
I knew that.
Old time, back in the day, very, very, very active, kept the club afloat. And just want to recognize Gary and this lovely lady here, N8OGK and N8SIN. Carol.
You're coming home with me.
Call his wife
Give
first.
me 2 hours to stop it, right? I really and truly, these folks have been around for a long time. And they are just fabulous people. And they've been wonderful for the club in the past, and I just wanted to recognize that.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay, he was saying, how many years what we used to do. I was talking to Gary.
I'm a fitting
Back in the
worker.
day,
I know you're waiting on it.
before computers, we were in the club, I used to do for many years, the newsletter. It was done on a word processor. Never heard of an internet, didn't know what that was, or computers. Had to go to the library and look up books on ham radio to get articles and process them for it to go into the newsletter. And then it all had to get formulated and go to the printer. No way to print it off. The club had to pay to print it. And it was usually 4 pages. And there was always photographs and hometown news, birthdays, and whatever. And then the postage on top of that. And it was a very big expense for the club. Other than insurance, that was probably the biggest expense for the club.
And we had to mail it too.
Yeah.
Of course, that was
And, but it took a long time to address all the newsletters, hold them, staple them, a lot of running around. But that's all I wanted to say about that. But the other thing I wanted to bring up, a month or so ago in the Trading Post, they were talking, Wadsworth was talking of having the hot air balloon come back.
Mhm.
And the city was looking for volunteers to help with that, with parking and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Maybe the club might be interested.
Absolutely,
We have to talk to the city, and if the club members would be interested, that'd be a good thing to get into.
Somewhere to look at.
Cool.
I'm done.
All right. Anything else? Any other business? Going once, going twice. Gone. Next meeting, Thursday, July 21st, right here. Same time, same place. Special topic is not TBD anymore. Ken Dorsey is going to be talking about telephones, Ham Shack hotline.
I have a hatchet.
So that'll be exciting, and there's going to be a special raffle next month. If you get inspired by Ham Shack Hotline, you can win a VoIP handset that will work on Ham Shack Hotline. So, all right, with that, 50-50.
We're done.
And there's a lot of talk about the ham hotline on Hampshire. I hear a lot of talk
Okay, you
about
got
it.
your ticket? Don't tear up your tickets, because I got hats to give away. The first one is 736701.
Bingo.
Woohoo!
Another loser.
What was the fifth? Wait, that was the money, right?
Oh, yeah, that's the.
That's the
Yeah,
money.
you
right?
get money. You don't get a cheap hat. That's wow. Wow, look at Rush.
Oh,
Wow.
He was trying to pull
The price is.
that.
Wait a
I'm here.
Hey!
It's the time guy.
minute. Wanna buy a 50-50?
You lost out anyway.
Just lost.
You lost out anyway.
Excuse me, What was the take, Russ?
$60.
$60. All right. Pass that on down. And then how many hats do you
I
have?
have 4 hats.
And what are the hats?
DX engineering hats.
All right.
They even come with their own nice little case.
Did they come with a discount coupon?
Okay. The first one is 717. 717. You want a case with it or not?
A case.
Plastic case.
The next one is
Hey, wait, I've heard those are worth a lot of money in Florida.
718.
Yeah, at Hamcation.
Did you say 718?
718.
717, 718.
Last three. Oh, wait a minute. I got that one too.
Oh, you mixed that one up, Russ.
Oh, another one. Yeah, I mixed them up several times. Those two just got stuck together. 803. 803.
Ending 803. Oh, Jeff's got one.
Who?
Jeff.
Jeff.
Who's the last one?
Don't unwrap it. Practice safe habit.
Yeah, we're giving it away again next time.
805.
805. Jeff, you have 805.
Jeff, you win
too?
that one too?
Yeah.
There you go.
Do you need 2 hats?
You did tear them apart when they threw them in here.
I did. It's the rest.
In the 50-50 process.
Unless you want to run.
Russ will be angry.
763.
763.
Oh, I get it.
Yay!
You win everything.
Shirt and hats, Dave, you're all set, man.
You got one more, Russ?
One more. 743.
743. 743.
It might be me. It is me.
You gonna do another one? Or are you taking the
I
hat?
already have 2.
Okay.
793.
793. 793. Oh, right behind you, Russ. All right, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Stephen motion. Second. Anyone want a second? Dave, second. All those in favor of adjourning the business meeting?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Nay.
All right. We're going to roll right into our special topic for the night, which is field day. mostly because if you haven't heard, my daughter decided that we needed a puppy. So I have a puppy now that I have to get home and let out.
I hope that's not a picture of him.
That is not a puppy.
Yeah, by the way, that's a lizard, not a puppy. She fooled you.
No, I did not bring the puppy. So we're going to plow right ahead here. So we're going to talk a little bit about Field Day. This is an expansion of a talk that we did last year in June. What is Field Day and why should I go? We talked about the club stuff, which we'll talk about second. But I wanted to cover a little bit more about what Field Day was, since we have a lot of newer hams. So we're going to talk about that and then what we do. So depending on how people choose to participate, Field Day is a picnic, a camp out, an informal contest that the ARRL insists is not a contest, practicing for non-traditional operations, and having fun with radio and fellow hams. Anyone want to take a guess which bucket we fall into? So this, if you look at the ARRL Field Days packet kit, this is what they say, and it probably is true. Single most popular on-air event held in the United States and Canada. If you're on during Field Day, the bands are packed.
Yes.
Wall to wall. There are tens of thousands of radio amateurs, and it's a lot of fun. You can participate in a lot of different ways, but what is it really, right? So it is the most contest-like not a contest in amateur radio. So there is exchanges, scores, multipliers, and it all gets published, but it is in no way a contest, according to the ARRL.
Yeah, no, it's not a
contest. But in honesty, it is a lot of fun because people and groups do set different goals. Some groups want to work all of the different sections. So if you're not familiar with it, the ARRL and the Radio Amateurs of Canada, is that what RAC stands for?
Yeah.
They have all of the states and the provinces are all divvied up into different sections. Like Ohio itself is just a section. But like if you go out to California, they've got California divvied up like 7 different ways. And Ontario, the province of Ontario is cut up 3 or 4 ways now. And so some people want to work all the sections. Some people work to win, even though this isn't a contest. They want to win a particular class or section or some category. We'll talk about that in a minute. Some groups, and this is one of our focuses, is get people on the air who don't normally operate. We have a lot of hams who do a lot with repeaters, but not so much with HF. We also have hams who don't do a lot of operating, period. Or at least on HF, so it's a good opportunity for people to get out there and operate. And many clubs make it an event. They do food, education, activities. So for example, I know Doug and the Wayne Amateur Radio Group, this year for their Field Day, they're going to be at the Wayne County Justice Center, kind of having a first responders kind of open house sort of thing. Yeah, touch a truck kind of thing. And they're really going to do a lot with the support community down there in Worcester. Ours is a little more picnic party kind of oriented. People do lots of different things. So again, operating, when we talked about it, the main point is, of course, to operate radio, right? And all of each setup gets broken up into a station type. So there's 2 components to a station type. The first one, although listed second in the exchange, is the class of station. There are 6 classes of station that operate in Field Day. The first one is A, which is club. This is what SARA operates as. During Field Day. It's a club or an informal group of 3 or more hams that are set up specifically for Field Day somewhere not used for regular operations and uses some form of emergency power. So we go to the Legion Hall, which is not a place where you would normally operate radio from. And even though we have all the wonderful things that we love about the Legion Hall, like air conditioning, we do use a inverter generator to power all of the radios. So we do qualify for a Class A emergency power setup. This is the second most common type of operation on field day. There's lots and lots of Class A stations on the air. A Class B station is sort of that niche for the QRP kind of people. So a Class B station is a 1 or 2 person only portable operation. They have to be essentially on battery or solar as a power source, and they can't exceed 5 watts. There are B stations out there, you don't hear a lot of them on field day. A lot of the people who do B are either QRP low power enthusiasts, or they're trying to win the Class B station setup.
But you get nothing.
Which you get nothing for. Just bragging rights, Russ.
Mhm.
Class C is a mobile operation from a vehicle, so that's kind of what you, in radio sport, when you think of a mobile operation, a roving kind of operation, that's what Class C is. Class D is the other big category you'll hear on the air. Class D is your regular station. So if I was operating from home, just sitting in front of the radio in the nice cool basement, not out in the field sweating, and I'm not using a generator, I'm a Class D station. Class E is the same, except if you're on emergency power. So in 2020, when we didn't have our traditional field day due to COVID, I actually operated from my house as a 1 echo station. It's 1 transmitter, which we'll talk about in a second, on a generator. And then F is if you're actually activating an emergency operations center, which I think that's what you guys, when you're at the comm center, the Wayne Amateur Radio Club, they actually activate as an F station because they're activating an emergency communications facility. Oh, I think you're gonna say something. The other thing is the number of transmitters. Now, the number of transmitters is a little bit tricky in that it's the number of simultaneously operating transmitters. So we could hook up 25 radios. Hey, Scott. We could hook up 25 radios and only use 4 of them at a time, and then our operation would be a four radio setup. There's obviously a minimum of 1 because it wouldn't make sense to have a 0 alpha field-based station. If you do get a multiplier, again, for not a contest, your score gets multiplied by the number of transmitters that you have, up to 20. But there is no theoretical limit. I think there's a couple of clubs that do like a 22 or a 25 alpha.
Well, Oceana did a 50 at one point.
Yeah.
50 alpha.
Yeah, some of them do them like as a novelty, like how many radios can we hook up in the field?
New York has done it for years or something.
Yeah.
3 or 4 beams up.
Yeah. So there is no theoretical limit. I mean, other than at some point, what's the point of, you can't do multi-op lockout. So if you've ever seen some of the radio sport people where they actually, there's like a switch that'll only allow 1 radio to transmit at a time, and they practice like interleaving calls. You can't do that. And you can't do SO2R. So single operator 2 radio. You have to, it's 1 operator per 1 radio. So those combine for your station class. So SARA, we're going to have, we might do 5. We were either going to do 5 or 6 alpha. I gotta talk to guys about it. Traditionally what SARA has done is we have accounted for every radio that we have deployed. That way we just don't have to worry about, oh wait, hold on, they're operating, so you can't operate, those kind of things. So we'll probably do a 6 alpha setup this year. But maybe we might do a 5 because of the free VHF station. Well, we had something we got to talk about. So SARA is a 5 alpha. When Wayne does it from the comm center, you guys were what, a 2F or 3F? 3F. So, but like this year, Wayne doing it at the Justice Center will be a, what'd you say, a 3 or 4? 3 alpha? Yeah, there'll be a 3 alpha this year because they're gonna be in a, oh yeah, so it's because that's the Justice Center still, yeah.
Where the EMA is.
Yeah. So if it wasn't the Justice Center, they'd be a 3 alpha. So the class moves around depending on what you're doing. So there are there's a currently in place COVID temporary rule that I preciously hope that they stop. But right, so it used to be the case that classes A, B, C, E, and F could work everybody on field day. But Class D could only work anything that wasn't the Class D station. So you couldn't do a home-to-home, fixed-to-fixed communication. In 2020, which I get why they did it for COVID, they did temporarily waive that rule that Class D stations can talk to other Class D stations. Now they've kept that through 2021 and 2022. It got announced weird that this was a permanent rule change, and I think the ARL got flooded with complaints about that because a lot of people like the fact that it causes people to get out in the community. So I'm hoping and expecting that they will actually drop that temporary rule at some point. I will also advocate for everybody contacting the ARL and telling them to drop that rule. Because otherwise it's just a regular operation, right? I mean, if you don't want to get out, I get that, and you get on the air, but it really is a nice incentive to get people to do something non-traditional.
Right. Unless you can't get out. Yep.
It greatly increased the number of participating stations.
Yeah.
They were like almost half of the entries, over half of which were the Class D.
Yeah.
So it increased the popularity. A station's a lot more people to work, and the D's, because then the D's didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I don't know. In my opinion, there's lots of other opportunities for that, though. We'll see. We'll see what they do. Power is limited to 100 watts, so you're not competing with the massive contest stations that are at full legal limit with. I mean, they can still have a 200-foot in the air beam pointing directly at somebody, but they can't blast 1,500 watts out to do it, which isn't necessary for the U.S. anyway. But people will do it. And then the exchange is the class and section. So for as an example, if you were calling CQ, so Sarah would be calling CQ, you'd say CQ, this is WAWKY for ARRL field, something like that. So then the station would come in, I would say this is NADI, WWKY would answer, NADI, 6 Alpha Ohio. So I'm telling myself in this example. Gary, we'll pretend Gary is WWKY. Gary is telling me 6 Alpha Ohio. I say QSL or I got it or okay or something, and I'm 1 Echo Ohio. Both of us enter the log, and then since Gary's the one who's calling CQ, say something like thanks or 73 QRZ. This is WWKY, something like that. It's that simple. It is not a rag chew. Well, some people will turn it into a rag chew, but most people are just making contacts, or some people will give encouragement if they're new sounding hams, things like that.
Most people treat it like a contest.
But most people, it's the most contest like, not a contest in amateur radio.
If you're most people's first introduction to contest.
Yeah, not a contest though.
It's a pseudo contest.
But yeah, Russ is right. Zeke's right. This is the open. This is a good way if you're interested in radio sport, the actual contesting. Field day actually is a great way
to wet your feet.
To jump in, especially in a setup like SARA, where we're going to have the splitter for all the headsets. So if you haven't done it before, you can sit down with somebody, listen to them operate for a little bit, and then switch. And then you can operate with the other person listening and helping out with logging and things like that. A couple exchange efficiency considerations. If you're contacting a busy station, the contester's not contesting on field day. Don't rag chew. Don't comment on the bands. Don't provide a weather report where you are. Don't provide blank. Don't provide anything. don't say please copy. I do that, and I know I shouldn't. But you know, and one other thing that comes up is with so many stations being activated, it's inevitable if you do a big operation like ours, you'll come across someone who said, "Oh, I already have you in the log," even though you aren't. Don't argue with them because they're not gonna back out the log entry. Miskeys happen, and it's just the way it is. Yeah, Gary.
Go ahead and put them in
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, if you can. Most software won't let you record a Duke usually.
Well, but if they're not a Duke, they're telling you you're a Duke.
Oh, right, yeah. In your log, yeah, record yourself in your logs. Yeah. Take the points for not a contest.
Right.
Were you gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say, like, if you're using N3FJP, you can say accept dupes and then rip them out later. So just take them anyways,
So
record
we
them
don't
anyways.
use them.
Whatever we use, yeah.
So some other considerations when you're operating. Watch the band edges, especially on upper sideband phone, because the bands are, I mean, literally packed. I mean, right now, like if you scrolled up to 20 meters, you would hear nothing above like 300, right? If even that, right? Which I got to talk to you about slow scan TV because you were telling me how it's packed. I can't hear any slow scan TV. So I got to talk to you. I'm missing something. But like, so for example,
He's digital.
so for example, you'll see someone transmitting on dial 14348. Well, if you're clever, you'll notice that that's 1 kilohertz past the amateur allocation. Is it going to kill anybody? No. Should you do it?
No.
No. Do you want a volunteer monitor card?
No.
No. So just keep it, especially if you're the one calling CQ, just especially with upper sideband phone, make sure that you watch the edge of your bands. Most of the contacts will happen on the general portions of the HF bands. So 80, 40, 20, 15, 10, maybe. Will pretty much be in the general class portions. Every once in a while, you'll run into someone operating in the extra class, or there are people that do that, but most of the operations is going to be in the general class portion of the bands. So it's a good reason to get your general, but not necessarily worry about your extra. Because, and even in radio sport, a lot of the radio sport contacts are all in the U.S. general portion of the bands, right?
But get your extra anything.
You should get your general.
You taste better.
Extra makes you taste worse. If you're worried about bears, get your extra. But in all seriousness, if you're a technician and you're looking at this, it sounds fun. You do not need to be an extra class operator to have great participation in field day and most other contests and events. Almost every event and contest will stay in the general portions of the bands. Yeah.
So just for a technicality, who's the trustee of the club, and I assume they're an extra class?
Gary is currently the trustee.
You're advanced though, aren't you, Gary?
I'm sorry?
Aren't you an advanced class?
You
You are extra?
No, he's extra.
Yeah, the Constitution requires a club trustee.
I don't taste that good.
He's very gamey.
Straight.
Yeah.
So if you're operating in the club field day, you have extra class privileges.
Correct. No.
Unless there's an extra class operator sitting with you.
Yeah,
There will be.
we have extra class operators on site to sit with the
Sitting
people.
with the operator.
When there's someone who isn't licensed, yeah.
But they can't, a general cannot operate the extra band unless there's an extra class operator sitting with them.
Correct. We have people sitting with them.
If we need it, yeah. But again, we like when we put the cards out, we put the general class portions of the band on the.
But you have to watch CW band entrance. And if you are operating an extra, you have to watch that. If you're operating general, you gotta make sure you don't drop out of the general band.
Right. So all of the contacts on the bands are the normal, the quote unquote normal hand bands. So 160, 80, 40, 20, 15, 10. You cannot do field day on 30, 17, or 12. And that's the rule for pretty much every contest and event. It's not a contest in the world. You also can't do it on the 60-meter interop frequencies, the ham government interop frequencies. Most of the activity at field day is single sideband, CW or FT8. Vast majority of it, sideband CW. FT8's really picked up in the last couple of years. Jamin's going to be bringing an FT8 station for 6, right? And then Jeff is going to be doing 20-meter FT8, right? So, so we'll have some 20. So we'll have some FT8 working. There is very little to no FM VHF operations. There might be a few people out there doing VHF simplex, but there just isn't much out there. Be patient with slow responding or confused stations. As we mentioned before, this is the first opportunity many people have had to get on the bands. You'll hear you'll throw out a call and it'll 10 seconds will pass and you hear, that was November, what was that again? Kind of thing. If you're a good operator, be patient with those people.
Right.
They're new. Give them a good intro to ham radio.
Right.
If you get bored at night and then you have not done any shortwave listening to the shortwave bands that are outside of the ham bands is a fascinating experience. There is everything from really interesting international music to very strange religious radio to China radio that has a completely propagandized
number
view of the world. If you can find a number station, there's all kind of fascinating stuff that you can hear at night on AM. Or you can listen to WWV and several different things. That's what Aaron falls asleep to during the field.
WWV.
So there's lots of things to keep you interested in field day. So what does SARA's field day look like? As I mentioned, we believe in getting people on the air and having fun. We are not in it for the score. We do want people to operate. After the last year, everyone hadn't seen each other and no one was operating for 3 hours because we're like, oh, there's people. They still exist in the world. But, we do want to get people on the air, but we're not trying to pound out the contacts, right? We believe in food.
Yes,
which
we do.
We'll talk about in a second. We do not believe in heat and mosquitoes. And we don't believe in the rain. So we do meet at the American Legion Hall in Rittman. It's right off of, if you get off 76 and you hit 57 South, you go 3 miles south on 57 and get off on Rittman Road. You're practically there. It's really easy to get to. It's indoor. It has plumbing. Yeah, you get off the light with the Mexican place that used to be a Hardee's or something. Sunset Drive, 223 Sunset.
And it has a cooler of sausage from last year hiding somewhere.
Yeah, there's the mystery sausage.
It'll be green and fuzzy.
But you do get a prize if you find missing sausage.
You get to keep it.
It's cool. It has electricity. It has plumbing, and there will be food there. So our schedule of events, and this is open to everybody, right? So this isn't just a club thing. This is open to the public. If you have a friend who's interested in ham radio, if you're not sure what you think about HF operating, or you're thinking about, I don't know if I want to bother getting my general class license, come to field day. Seriously, come to field day. Our schedule of events, we go about 24 hours. The event is a lot longer than that, but we usually call it a day after 24 hours. We'll set up about noon. We start setting up. We'll start operating theoretically if everyone stops talking at 2 o'clock. From 2 to 5 in the afternoon on Saturday, we really do try to focus on new hams, returning hams, maybe people who aren't on the air a lot but came to visit. So we will kind of prioritize that. So if you want to bring somebody, an unlicensed person or a technician wants to come, we'll get those people on the air if they come at any time. But it's on Saturday afternoon that we really prioritize the operating for those types of people. And I only say that because if you're an experienced operator and we have someone new, we're gonna ask you to get off the radio. We won't do that at other times, but that's what we do on Saturday afternoon. We will have dinner at 6 p.m. for the club members and invited guests. We are not feeding the whole of Richmond population. If you bring somebody, we'll feed them. We're not like, hey, we're having a free dinner here at Field Day. Breakfast, same thing. We'll have breakfast for the members and anybody that we've brought. Again, if you're having a friend or someone, or you want to say, hey, come out, they can have dinner. That's fine. We're just not advertising this as like, hey, everybody, there's a free meal at the American Legion Hall at 6 o'clock, because you know what'll happen.
Yes.
So, and then we'll start to tear down around 11 or 12 on Sunday morning. By the time it gets to Sunday morning, you've worked everybody you can possibly work. There's fatigue, people are tired. You know, Gary's just getting up. So when we start to tear down around 11.
You're not there this year, though, right?
Gary won't be there this year.
You won't be there at Field Day.
First time in 20 years.
So we are probably going to operate as a 6 alpha station. I wanted to kick that around with the people who are bringing radios, because we do qualify for the free VHF station, and we had always done 6 alpha before in case we had like 10 and 160 or 15 and 160 operating at the same time. We haven't done that in the last couple of years, so not that it matters a whole lot, but we should probably decide what we're going to do with that. As I said, we are going to be a 5 or 6 simultaneous transmitters, class alpha station. I believe, Doug, we're borrowing your generator this year, so we'll have an inverter for that. But as I said before, the class isn't terribly important unless you're really going for points and it's not a contest. We are going to do the free VHF station on 6 and 2. I think in the afternoon and early evening, David, is what you were committing to. So we will be doing the same setup we did last year. That worked out really well for us. Terminated folded dipole that will be on the not 50-foot Roan H50 mast. This will be a different experience at putting up a mast. Last year was kind of sketchy with the bending. This is going to be a lot of, wow, this is a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be. So we'll see how that works out. We are going to have the 5 HF radios going through the filter field. We usually swap out either 10 or 15 on 160 at night, so we'll have the big signal up there. And then we're going to have all the audio equipment that we were talking about for all the radios. One of our core activities, of course, is eating. This is an unrelated stock photo of food.
Very unrelated.
Yeah, it's an unrelated stock photo of food we're not having. But I don't have any field day pictures of the food before we ate it. So we have to take that.
Yeah.
That's much less exciting.
There you go, Bill.
So we will have dinner, as I said, on Saturday night, Sunday morning, and we'll also have snacks, drinks, and coffee. Last year, we had so much food, we were begging people to take stuff home. If you want to bring something, coordinate with Russ so that we don't end up with a literal mountain of food on a table that we're like, well, we have to throw this away, and I feel bad about it, but I don't know what to do with 700 snack cakes.
Well, I brought those. They got them at the thrift store.
Yeah. So
they were cheap.
And
so the menu for this year, Saturday is going to be sloppy joes, potato salad, coleslaw, chips, and a dessert of some kind. Or people are going to bring dessert, or we just
dessert. We're not going to provide dessert, but people will always bring dessert. So, so that will happen.
But you have to run it through me first.
Yeah, run it through Russ first.
See if it qualifies to put out.
If Russ is what you want to bring,
and there's any left,
he'll say yes.
It will be blessed. Just don't give it to Russ in advance, or it might disappear like a tray of sausages.
That's right.
Still don't know where those went.
And watch out for your fingers.
Yeah. So Sunday morning, Bob is going to be making Mountain Man casserole, and he's got some what are the sausages?
Dyer's Good Get.
Yeah.
Which is only available in in the United States in Cincinnati, Ohio.
But somehow they're German.
It's a German breakfast sausage that's made out of salt and peppered pork, a little bit of ground beef,
Guten
and
Abend.
steel cut oats.
In Cincinnati.
It's made in Cincinnati. Guys,
Cincinnati.
you get it, look it up
They hand
online.
stuff them.
You can't find it anywhere else, and it is an incredible breakfast experience.
I will say this, Bob Bone is, W8IJG is back. Bob had a bout the last 2 years, health bout, and,
That's one way to put it.
yeah, a bout with his health. But anyway, he is eager to get back and become active with the club again. If any of you have experienced Bob's cooking in the past, I mean, he has done
Very good.
a good job in the past. Russ has been a fabulous addition to that crew, and he picked up the slack when Bob obviously wasn't available. But so we have the best of both worlds right now. We have Russ and Bob cooking for us, so food will not be an issue.
And that's our third most important belief about field day.
Absolutely.
Food.
And I'm just making sloppy jokes, so don't get too excited.
That'll be great.
So, so technician class holders, as we mentioned, we are going to have control operators present for all the HF radios if we need them. If you're a technician, especially if you're a technician class, you can get on the HF radio without being upgraded yourself. Just work with us. We make sure we have the right control operator present. Technicians in the end, as I mentioned, technicians and the interested unlicensed public, we give them priority 2 to 5-ish Saturday afternoon. And of course, if you're interested in working, we do you can work anytime. But like I said, we prioritize those two groups during Saturday. So why come to field day or our field day specifically rather than work from home? Working in field day itself, there's no shortage of stations you can talk to that all can hear you. It's all mostly continental United States. You don't need a big super contesting station to hit DX in the middle of Africa. I mean, it's 10,000 of your closest neighbors blasting their way across the bands. If you want to test something, you can bring that. Just coordinate with me first. We're happy if you want to, hey, I want to see how my radio works, or can you kind of bring it so you can show me maybe how this one thing works that I can't figure out. We're happy to accommodate it. Like I said, just coordinate that with me first. And important, if you're going to do that, bring in the manual that goes with the thing you want us to help you with. Because chances are we don't know how to use it either. And we'll be like, it's got a lot of buttons on it. I wonder what they do.
It's a radio that goes boop.
Yeah. If you want to learn about how different aspects of field day work, especially if you're interested in how we set up the antenna system, for example, come out to set up. It's a really good experience. I know I've personally had a lot of really good conversations with people about the theory of the antennas and how they work and why we chose this over that and some of those kind of things. It's a great learning opportunity for it. Obviously, eat. Again, and get more involved with ham radio, right? I know I go in spurts where I don't operate for a couple of months just because I've got 2 kids, a job, now a dog because I need the dog, and I don't get on the air. This is a good chance to get out there, work some stuff, and you think, oh yeah, I can't believe I got out of this. I got to get back into operating. So,
What kind of dog?
It's a Bernedoodle.
Nice.
It's a crossbreed of poodle and a Bernese Mountain Dog.
Now you can be an official 1A rover.
Yeah, it was chosen specifically because my wife has allergies, and it is a low to no shed perfect dog.
Now that you have that dog, which is probably going to be a big dog.
It's supposed to stay small. I was promised it's going to stay small.
You're not going to have as much money.
You forgot to tell everybody about your Nespresso that you
I'm not talking about the Nespresso. I'm still unhappy about the Nespresso.
Jason, just a word, in my experience over the years with field day it's a very family-oriented event. It's a great place to bring some kids, invite a neighbor who has a kid. and see if it can spark some interest in somebody. It really is a fun event, and it is very social, very relaxed, and
We always
nice
have-
you can bring a friend.
Yeah.
We always have a couple kids that operate on Saturday.
Yeah.
Always.
You know, take my neighbor's kids to somebody else's field day, because I have to live with them. So, I'm not taking it back.
Well, you're gonna be at field day. You won't have to see it on field day.
Yeah, but if I bring them to field day.
Oh, no, you don't have to bring them.
Are we gonna have the TV set up with the stats again?
Yeah.
All night? Good.
Yep. Well, I think so. I gotta ask if the person who brings the TV is bringing the TV
Okay.
this year. If not, we'll have the projector.
I can always bring I have a flat screen I can
Oh, okay, yeah, but that's better than the projector.
put it on a TV. I'm put it on a table if we have a table. Yeah.
I have a 55-inch in my bedroom that I can.
Are you bringing yours? That's what I was asking. Okay, yeah, but if you'll bring yours, then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. And then the one last thing is we will have, Gary, if you want to buy the official field day T-shirt, we will have all sizes available for purchase at field day.
Not all sides.
Not all sizes. I thought we bought 2 of everything.
Large, extra large.
Well, yeah, large, extra large.
We have large, extra large, 2X and 3X.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Large, extra large, 2X, 3X will be for sale at field day.
It was a distribution issue.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, that's all I have.
Cool.
American Legion Post 243. It's on 220 East Sunset Drive. All this information is on the club website. You should come to field day.
Excellent. Woo!
Any questions about field day before we wrap it up?
Jason?
Yeah.
You can operate from your home station and, enter. Amateur Radio Association in your middle.
Right.
And the club will get your points and contacts credited to the club and the club aggregate.
Yeah.
As long as you just can't work club from another station.
Right.
Right, yeah. So what Zeke was saying is if you don't want to come out to field day, but you want to work, when you go to submit your parade, you have to list it full out. Silver Creek Amateur Radio Association in the box. Then they do publish an aggregate club score. So.
But you can work at the club as well.
Yeah, and you like if I was doing it from home, I can't make contact with WKY. You're not allowed to do that.
You can operate from field day site and from your home.
Yeah.
There are all the points that you get.
To win the contest.
To keep the beat totally fair.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Any other questions on field day? All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the 25th.
Make sure you pay.
Excellent.
Yeah. Make sure you pay your bill. Tip well.
I was gonna say, Tips well, she did a fantastic job.
Yes, she did. They all do.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.